Hello students, today we're covering lesson 7.3 on triangles. Please follow along with me in your textbook on page 284. I'd like to begin by writing down and drawing the key ideas, so take a moment to pause the video to copy this down. Our first key idea is classifying triangles using angles. In this first triangle, you will see that this is called an acute triangle, and the reason why is because every angle is less than 90 degrees. The second triangle is an obtuse triangle, and the reason why is because we have one large angle that is greater than 90 degrees here. So if we have one angle that is greater than 90 degrees, it's called an obtuse triangle. The third triangle is a right triangle because it has a right angle, and you can see it's a right angle by forming that square right there. And in an equiangular triangle, the equiangular triangle has three angles that are all equivalent. The symbols here, here, and here show that these three angles are all congruent or the same measure. Now, we also have a way of classifying triangles by looking at their side lengths. Congruent sides have the same or equal length. So the first triangle is a scalene triangle because it does not have any congruent sides. All three sides are different lengths. The isosceles triangle has two sides that are congruent, and you'll see it by these tick marks here. But since it has one mark on the left side and one mark on the right side, that means that those two sides are congruent or equivalent. And the equilateral triangle has three congruent sides. So all three sides here are the same exact length. So example 1 is classifying triangles. So we need to classify each triangle according to its angle and according to its side. So first I'm going to look at the angles. And here I see a 115-degree angle. This is an obtuse angle. So if I have one obtuse angle, then it's going to be an obtuse triangle. The next way to look at it is by looking at the side lengths. Now there are no tick marks on any of these three sides. And this side looks the shortest, this one looks medium in length, and this third side is the longest here. So since they don't have any sides the same length, we also say it is scalene. So this is an obtuse scalene triangle. The next one for activity B has two angles that are congruent in length. But if two are the same size, it makes me think that there's a possibility that the third angle could be the same size. We don't know that for sure, but what we do know is by looking at all three angles, even this one is an acute angle. So since all three are smaller than 90 degrees, we say it is acute. And we also know that two sides are congruent by looking at the tick marks here. When two sides are the same length, we call it isosceles. So this is an acute isosceles triangle. Now I'd like you to complete on your own numbers 1 and 2, classify the triangles, tell me about their angles, and then tell me about their sides. Okay, example 2 is constructing a triangle using an angle measure. We need to draw a triangle with angle measures of 30, 60, and 90 degrees, and then classify the triangle. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to start by drawing a 30-degree angle. I start by putting my vertex point here and then drawing a straight line. Now I'm going to make the straight line a little bit longer because if it's too short, then I may not be able to form the triangle properly. So now I have my protractor. I place it over my point and my straight line so that it's at 0 degrees. And I'm going to measure it exactly 30 degrees here. And then I put my new point at 30 degrees. With a straight line or a straight edge on the protractor, you can connect the first 2 points together, and I always like to label it 30 degrees. Now I'm going to pick up my protractor, flip it around, and now I'm going to measure a 60-degree angle. So I pick it up, and then I start at 0. Let me flip this around. And now I'm going to measure a 60-degree angle. So here I have, let me pick my protractor a little more. Let me go from this other direction. That's better. Okay, so I'm going to measure it 60 degrees. Don't worry about this blue line here. Let's just delete this. Okay, so measuring to 60 degrees would put me right about here. And then I connect my points, and here's my bottom line, so I'm just going to draw the point there. Connect the line using a straight edge. And then you'll notice it formed a triangle. And this measure that we just created was 60 degrees. Now it says to make a 90-degree angle. Well, just by looking at the triangle, it looks like it already formed a 90-degree angle, but I want to be 100% certain. So I'm going to place my protractor along the line, and then I go all the way up to 90, and it is a perfect 90-degree angle. So I'm going to draw the square inside the triangle to show my 90-degree angle. So we have a 30, 60, 90 triangle. Now it says to classify the triangle. So when we do that, we look at the sides and the angles. It's a right triangle because it has a right angle, but all 3 sides are different lengths. So it's a right scalene triangle. So I hope you do this with me. If you have your own protractor, try to do it on your own. Now, example 3 is constructing a triangle using side lengths. Now, this time we need to draw a triangle with 3 centimeter side and a 4 centimeter side that meet at 20-degree angle. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to draw my straight edge, and I'm going to make a 20-degree angle. So here I start at 0, and I'm going to measure up to 20 degrees. Let me get this lined up properly. There we go. So up to 20 degrees would be only right there. Now I'm going to pick up my ruler, and it says one side has to be 3 centimeters. So I start at the vertex point, and I'm going to create one side that's 3 centimeters. I'll do it in black. 1, 2, 3. And I'm going to pick up my ruler again, and I'm going to draw another side that's 4 centimeters. So I'm going to tilt it, line it up. Here's 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. I'm going to draw it in black. There we go. It's not quite perfect, but it's close. And then it says to classify the triangle. So I have 2 sides here. Now I just connect the third side. So I'm just using the black parts here and here. Now when I connect the third side, I notice this really large angle right there. That looks like an obtuse angle. And if one side is 3 inches, one side is 4 inches, they all look different lengths. So I would say this is an obtuse scalene triangle. Oops, let me finish writing this. Got to move my ruler. Sorry about that. So for this activity, you needed a ruler and a protractor. Now on your own, it helps if you have a ruler and a protractor. If you don't, you will have to estimate by using the protractor in your textbook and trying to draw a ruler or the measurements on your own. To estimate, use 2 fingers for the width of 1 inch and 4 fingers for the length of 2 inches. That will help you. Now for your exit ticket, I would like you to tell me everything you know about this triangle. I want you to describe the angles. I want you to describe the sides. I want you to tell me everything you know about triangles. And go ahead and type this out. Have a great day, and I'll see you tomorrow. Bye-bye.